We also wanted to talk. I'm in conservatory still, and you are often taking classes. So one of the things we wanted to share was what we're learning in those classes. Um, I was up in Tom's class today doing a cold read, and it was a scene from Parallel Mothers, which was one of the Oscar nominees for Best Picture, I believe. I have not seen it. Um, but I'll share the big lesson in our scene, and it's something that Tom shares with us a lot of the times, and it's the idea of act at the speed of life. Too many times, actors, when they're running scenes, especially on auditions where you're maybe not fully um, the words aren't quite in your body, we'll go way too slow where it's my line, your line, my line, your line. And in real life, especially when it's something heated or emotional, and in this case, it was a very heated discussion between a man and a woman about a baby and a pregnancy, and she's the mistress, so there's a lot of emotions and drama in that. But his note was, it's just got to be faster. You got to be stepping on her lines. She's got to be stepping on your lines, so that you get to the point where the part is playing you and the scene is playing you, rather than I say something, then you say something. I say something, you say something, which to a viewer is just death. And it becomes very predictable if you're watching in the viewer, and you can predictably guess, like, okay, she speaks and then he speaks and and because it's also just not real. You watch that and something about it will feel false, because in real life, when you see a couple that's really heated, if you walk in a grocery store and you see two people ribbing each other out, they're not politely waiting for the other to speak. They're just they're barely even listening to the other person. And a lot of acting is listening to the other person, but in a heated argument, often in real life, we're not listening. We're hearing a couple things that they say and then immediately reacting with our rebuttal, so that it's back and forth, back and forth. So it was the idea of saying our lines even faster. Like Stacy would say a line, and Tom would be like, you can say that entire thing 3 times faster. And Lars, I don't even want to hear a breath, like no dead space between. Just jump on that last word, because have your response locked and loaded about 3/4 of the way through her lines, like we often do in real life. Often in real life, we're not listening actively. We're waiting to speak sometimes. So, and I think that's just a huge lesson, and a huge it's one of those easy fixes. A few episodes ago, we had the 5 ways you can up level your auditions. Often it's just work on pace. I think you
And
mentioned
rate
that
was
too,
one
right?
of
Yeah,
the,
you
yeah,
mentioned
right.
rate. Yeah. So we did talk about that.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times it's just like, yeah, that was great. Now just do it faster, so it seems like a real life thing. And that also means removing punctuation and not playing commas, not playing periods, not playing every dot like it needs to be this long dramatic pause. And then you earn your pauses. You go fast, and then you get to something and someone drops a big bomb, and then that takes the wind out of your sails for a minute, and you have to react to that, which in our lingo would be an event potentially,
Mhm.
or something with a lot of importance, or some people refer to it as a beat change in a script. But just back and forth, back and forth. um, yeah, Adam Daniel Mazet says a great example of that: the Spanish improv that Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz did in Woody Allen's Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Mhm.
Alan told those two to improvise an argument sequence at the drop of a hat, and they performed it masterfully in the streets of Barcelona. Yeah, and it's a weird thing. It's as soon as you see that, you're like, and if you're witnessing that, you can even be tricked into thinking that these people aren't acting. They're just like, oh, what's going on here? And then you're like, oh, they're just acting. But it's because it seems real. And you emotionally and vocally, when you're going that fast, you get caught up into it. And then at the end, you actually feel like you just had a real argument with someone, because you basically did. But it was because it was at the right speed and vocally, and your breath and everything. So that at the end, maybe you're a little out of breath. Maybe you feel heated because emotionally you were getting all worked up, and it just doesn't get there. If it's slow, then it's the Tom always mentioned, it's bad daytime television soap opera, where it's just these dramatic pauses and these breathy, like I say a line and then I gaze off into the distance, which is just terrible. So act at the speed of life. That was my big lesson in acting class with Tom today. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is we had our second class, our subversive clown class. And the thing, I'm not going to share all the lessons. I just want to share the homework. This is the brilliant thing about being in an acting conservatory is we had homework, but often it's really fun. So our homework, legit, this is our homework this week. He instructed us to laugh more, laugh louder and more inappropriate in public. So to get caught laughing out loud. Feels good. Feels good. And he said, and I love this one because I do it already. He said, sing songs about things that you're doing in your everyday life. So like, I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a podcast with BK Broiler. We are broadcasting to the world. Oh, yeah. That's a terrible song, by the way.
I loved it.
Do you do that in real life?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sing songs all the time.
Making some spaghetti in a pot. Earlier, I was singing, I'm emptying my bladder in the toilet, all my urine going out my wee-wee.
Boop, boop.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, add lots of boops and beeps.
Yeah.
And then he also said any scenario where you win or lose, and the example that he gave was if you're catching public transportation, you run after it and you just squeak in through the doors. Give one of these, sweet, or like sweet, a fist, like more fist bumps, which for us in Tom's language is guidepost 7, communication and competition, which is also communication and competition is guidepost 7 as it relates to rate and fighting for what you want and acting at the speed of life. That's also communication and competition when two characters are fighting for their point of view and for their for their argument, and so much that they're fighting fast for it. And then he also said when we lose, find spots throughout the week where we get to say, oh, nuts. So if you miss that cab or you miss the door, just, oh, nuts. Oh, shoot. Oh, nuts. And the other homework was to be mischievous. So he said, go to the grocery store and like nothing, like he's like, don't wreak havoc on the world, but like move the mustard to the ketchup shelf or turn the labels around or turn a bunch of things upside down or just little goofy things. And that's fun because then someone comes along later on and they laugh at it. Or maybe that might mean if you're in a climate where there's frost or snow on the car windows, do some funny faces or some silly faces or write some silly things. And then the other example was don't turn around in the elevator. So just walk into the elevator and be like, floor 7, please. And just stand facing everyone in the elevator.
Okay.
And that
so
that
it's
was
basically like a test to get you used to embarrassment, and so
you're not
worried about it.
Yeah, the idea was be a little more irreverent to societal norms, and the big lesson is like society and life in general is saying be small and don't act out. But if you want to be a performer, the whole point of that is to act often bigger than life and larger than life, and to step out of your comfort zone and to not be that person who just steps in line and just keeps their head down and just blends in with everyone else, which we really are taught to be that way in society. And also to spread, he did also say in a positive way. So that's, you're spreading joy. And like, how fun is it when you were like, yes, I did it. And then all of a sudden you're like high-fiving people and people are cheering you on. Like, that's fun. It's fun to do. So
I want to add to that, just for anyone listening right now. I want you to be ultra polite to anyone you meet. Ultra polite. I'm talking like pleases, thank yous, helping anyone.
Yes.
Be more observant in your
Yes.
everyday life. If someone needs help lifting something up, go help them lift it. If someone's struggling to get down out of the subway or like out of the bus or something, go help them down. I love this idea.
It
That's a
it
fantastic homework thing.
it feels really good when you do things like that. I mean, you're talking about paying it forward and being kind and opening a door for someone or even complimenting someone. Just be
Yeah.
like sweet jacket, man. Like
Hmm.
just like and that's also like dialing up the love. When you see something that you love, actually express it. Or you see something funny, tell the person, oh man, that was hilarious. Or even catch people doing those things. Catch someone, you see someone open the door for someone else, and then you walk by like, man, that was really nice of you. Like, thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. You just made the world a little better place. Yeah, it's contagious. Thank you,
And,
Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. I just want to say thank you. One of my favorite thing is thanking people for thanking you. So say thank.
oh,
So I'll
oh,
say,
thank you, Lars.
oh, thank you for thanking me, Brandon.
Oh, well, thank you for thanking me for thanking you.
Oh, Brandon, that's so nice of you. I just want to say how grateful I am that you would thank me for thanking you for thanking me for thanking you for thanking me.
Wow, Lars, this has made my day. Thank you for thanking me for thanking you for thanking me for thanking you.
Mm.
And
Brandon, I am just so full of gratitude that you would take the time to thank me for thanking you for thanking me for thanking you for thanking me for thanking you for thanking me for thanking you.
Lars, thank you.
See?